Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Tanya Rylan and I really am looking forward to talking to you today about my little journey with anxiety. And the reason I want to do this is if you are struggling right now with it, I just want to give you a little bit of hope. So let's chat. So my journey with anxiety started before I even had anxiety. My mom has struggled with a lot of mental health issues, but one of them being anxiety and panic attacks specifically. But I just remember her being afraid to go over train tracks, being afraid to walk around the block. So I knew that she felt anxious. I knew that it was a lot of fear-based stuff. So when I first started experiencing it, it wasn't new to me. I kind of recognized it right away. So because I am a fix me girl, meaning when something starts to happen or go wrong with me, I just want it fixed. Like just get it done, do what you got to do, cut it out of me. It wasn't too long before I was letting the doctor know what was happening and stuff, because I knew that when I was driving, for example, and stopped at a stoplight and my heart would start to race. I think that was one of the first signs for me physically that something was happening. So then, you just avoid intersections. And then standing in line at the bank one day, specifically the bank. I don't know why, but when I lined up at the bank, and this is back when you went to the bank more often, I would have that same flight reaction. Like, I got to get out of here. My heart is pounding. I'm sweating. I can't stand still. I feel like people are looking at me and noticing what's happening. And it just makes you want to get out of the situation. So those were the first few little things. But then, see, I worked in retail and I had to be out with people all the time. One of the scenarios was when I was on a cash register having to help people. I felt like I couldn't leave the register, and when my face would get flushed, then I would think everybody was noticing. Then it gets your heart rate up, it starts pounding, that kind of thing. So what did I do? I avoided going to the cash registers and I asked my bosses, can I just avoid that? I'm having a tough time. And I was lucky, I guess, because my bosses were really understanding. So then I didn't have to do it. Those are a few of the things that started this for me physically. I had always had one of those brains, those worry brains, those can't shut it off brains at night, right? But my thoughts started becoming fear-based, terrified of fire, okay? Had to unplug everything in the house. So a little OCD mixed in there, which at the time I didn't realize what it was, but it was just, I knew I was afraid. I knew I was afraid to die. I was afraid to drive on highways. And all of this was because I thought, I'm going to have a panic attack and I'm going to pass out. What if I'm driving down the highway, and I pass out and I'm driving and cause a horrific accident, and on and on and on. And those of you with those brains completely understand where I'm coming from. I thought it had to do with, too, that I had a young child. So my worry brain, of course I had a worry brain. I have to be alive for this child and I have to keep her alive and I have to, so I thought this little bit of worry brain early on in my life was just normal. I can't sleep at night because my brain won't shut off. And everything was worst case scenario, everything. Right? And our brains are kind of wired like that normally. We kind of go to worst case scenarios. So that is exactly what I did every single time. So by debilitating anxiety, and that's what I felt like I had, because it starts to affect your life. you can't walk out the front door without worrying about something. And I remember saying to someone, I just want to walk out the door. I don't want to have to walk out the door and worry that I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to faint and pass out, and it's going to be embarrassing. I went through about 5 years of this, at least 5 years of this. So there came a point in my life, I think it was when I was around 36. I was like, I gotta get this fixed. Like, I gotta go talk to somebody. I have to go see someone. I was hell bent against medication. Not doing it, not taking a pill. And again, this was me not wanting to be like my mom. My mom was medicated all the time. And I was like, I'm not going to be like my mom. I am not. I'm going to handle this differently, and I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm going to do this, right? So then I got diagnosed with cancer. So that's another conversation. But I wanted this part of me fixed. So I am telling you, I got my therapist when I was almost just around the time I was diagnosed. So I didn't want to go to this counselor, this therapist, for my cancer diagnosis. I needed to deal with my anxiety. So yeah, so you think that the anxiety would be extremely heightened because of my cancer, but I tried to keep those things separate. And that might seem really odd because they're two totally different things. So I'm dealing with sickness here and dealing with sickness somewhere else. But anyways, I was hell-bent on doing this. So I finally got a counselor, and she was this young girl who I thought was very naive. And I just thought, this isn't going to work. You are a child. You don't know what you're doing. You're right out of school. You have a little baby. Like, we have nothing in common. How are you possibly going to understand me? But because this was free, I wanted to stick it out. I had to give it a chance. And lo and behold, she was amazing. Because whether or not we were the same, she had tools that I didn't know about. And she had really good tools called ears. And I needed someone who was going to listen. More than anything else, I needed someone to listen. And I needed someone to tell me that I was normal. This is okay. Okay, so we're going back 10 years now. Things were a little different. Way more different for my mom, but a little different for me too. So I ended up, while I'm going through treatment, while I'm going through all my cancer stuff, I am booking it. I am walking to every damn appointment with this young woman. I did not miss an appointment. She watched me go through my surgery. She watched me go through chemo. She watched me go through radiation. And there wasn't a whole lot of talk about it because I was very matter of fact that I might be bald the next time you see me, but we're still talking about this anxiety thing because when I come out of this, I need to be okay. And she understood that. So of course she would ask me how I am, whatever. But we did focus on that. And then she thought, Tanya, you would be great for this group therapy. And then I was like, She goes, no, give it a chance, right? So I showed up at this group therapy and they give you a workbook and I think, oh, this is nice. Like, you know, other people who I feel like I have nothing in common with. And we have to talk and we have to share. Man, am I glad I didn't walk out of there because I wanted to. Because again, they have to watch me physically be changing as I go every week. And I'm trying not to bring that up because I don't want to talk about that. I need to talk about my anxiety. So they all respected that pretty well, which was great. But man, like I said, I'm glad I didn't walk out of there because almost better than you like bleh, and just getting everything out, which I think is so healthy. Hearing other people's stories, way healthier, way healthier. And not only because of the saying, someone always has it worse than you. I get it. Someone always does. But when you start to have compassion for someone who's going through something you're going through, you go, gotta have compassion for myself. Because the one thing we had in common was we were all suffering from anxiety. And we all needed help and wanted help, and that's why we were there. And I missed it when it ended. I missed it because I looked so forward to going to that. It was an evening, it was an hour. You either had your turn to talk or you listened to someone else, and you worked through this workbook. So you got your homework to do during the week. It was so fantastic. So I go through this. I'm going to see my therapist. I think it was every week or every other week. And I'm feeling really good. But the physical symptoms aren't stopping. Like, I'm trying to connect the two because I feel like the physical is making me mental and the mental is making the physical. And I'm like, I don't know which one to fix first. I broke. And I thought, if I'm doing everything else, because I swore to myself I would try everything else, if I'm trying everything else and I still need help, I'm going to try the dreaded medication. So I know what this can be like. I know that sometimes with the medication, you have to go through so much to find one that works for you. I was a lucky one. The first one I tried, and I will tell you, it's Cipralex. It's one of the most common medications for anxiety, and you start off on a really low dose. Now, having said that it's the most common doesn't mean it works for everyone, but it does have a high success rate. I do know that people that have tried it and it didn't work for them, because that's just the name of this game, right? You have to try until, and like a lot of you out there, a lot of people that I've even talked to in person say, I don't want it to change me. I don't want to be numb. I don't want to not feel. And I'll tell you, that was my number one. I don't want to not feel things. I'm a feeler. And if you numb me up, what am I going to do? My doctor reassured me, Tanya, you're still going to cry. You're still going to laugh. You're still going to, right? You might even find a little joy because you need to settle down a little bit up here and be in the moment. And you might actually find a little joy. And that's what I was searching for. Just a little joy, being able to walk out my door, not thinking about or worrying about passing out or having a heart attack. So goals, right? Started this medication, and I, to this day, am on this medication. And I don't regret it. I certainly am not like my mother because I take one pill that helps me get through my days. Finally realized that. And I mean game changer. When I say game changer, I mean I've traveled. I've been on airplanes. I drive on highways. I have done things that I never, ever imagined I could. And all there was this roadblock. Now, I would never recommend to anyone to just go get a pill. I really believe you have to do the work that I did as well, as far as seeing someone, talking to someone, having some tools to help you along the way. I just don't believe that one can work without the other. Now, that could be someone's experience, and that's fantastic, but I really believe that because I did do those things, I'm in a place now where I don't have those fears anymore, guys. I don't have that running brain. And it took a long time and a lot of years. I didn't just start taking that pill and then it wasn't a miracle by any means, but it settled me down to be able to actually use the tools that I was taught, because sometimes it's so hard in the moment when your heart is racing and you're dealing with all these things to try and breathe and do all these exercises that they tell you to do, right? So it takes time to find that balance. It took me a lot of years. So no, it's not a miracle drug or a miracle group or a miracle therapist. I think it was a mix of all of those things and just being damn determined to feel okay again. So I just want to give that to you, that yes, mine was like a generational thing. I'm sure my grandma went through it. I know my mom went through it. Probably even worse than me without the tools and help that I had. It was a terrible, terrible time. I feel like my 30s was just a terrible, terrible time. My 30s in general. But now when I meet people, and it's, let's face it, it's commonplace. It's common to have these anxieties, especially today. So when I'm talking with someone like am with you, but I feel like I can be someone that says it can be okay, like, and it will be okay if you want to do the work. I can be someone that says it can be okay, like, and it will be okay if you want to do the work. Then yeah, life can be pretty great. So I'll wrap it up now. I just wanted to share that with you because it was a chunk of my life, and it was a chunk that wasn't so great, but it's like a look at me now moment, I feel really good about it. So I want you to feel good about it too. So if you learned anything or enjoyed this video, this little chat with me, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and the bell button so you can hear the next video that I put out. So I love this. I love chatting with you. And please comment below because then I can chat with you. Okay, great. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and we'll talk soon. Bye.